There's something strange about the Sigma male. He's sharp, driven, self-reliant and capable. People notice his presence. They respect his moves. Many even admire him. But here's the twist. He often doesn't see what they see. He doesn't see his own greatness. From the outside, it might look like he has it all figured out. But inside, there's often a silent doubt. He doesn't walk around thinking he's special. He doesn't pause to celebrate his own wins. And sometimes he even questions whether he's done enough. This isn't false humility. It's deeper than that. It's built into how he thinks. The Sigma male doesn't chase applause. He doesn't measure himself by likes, compliments, or awards. He's not moved by attention. Instead, he's driven by personal growth, clarity, and purpose. But the same mindset that pushes him to grow also keeps him from seeing what he's already achieved. This inner tension creates a strange reality. He can be great and not know it. He can be respected and still feel behind. He can be admired and still carry doubt. That's the struggle, not of performance, but of perception. And the truth is, it's not weakness. It's wiring. In this video, we're going to break down the real reasons behind this. Why does the Sigma male have so much potential but still struggle to see his own greatness? What's happening beneath the surface that blinds him to his own progress? And how can that awareness help him move forward? Here are 6 powerful reasons why the Sigma male has trouble seeing his own greatness. Reason number 1. High standards that hide accomplishment. The Sigma male is known for expecting a lot from himself. He doesn't settle for average. He sets goals that others avoid. And when he reaches them, he doesn't stop. He moves the bar higher. That's how he grows. But it's also how he hides his own greatness from himself. He measures progress in quiet ways, not in praise or money, but in how far he's come from who he used to be. He holds himself to standards that most people would consider impossible. And because of that, he rarely feels like he's arrived. When he completes something, he doesn't pause to celebrate. He immediately starts thinking about what's next. That mindset is useful for long-term success, but it also erases the victories he's already earned. His high standards create a moving target. Every time he reaches one level, he tells himself it's not enough. That makes it hard to feel accomplished, even when he's done something powerful. This also shows up in how he views mistakes. If he misses a step or falls short, he doesn't forget it. He keeps it in his mind as a lesson. That part is healthy. But the problem comes when he lets those missteps overshadow the progress he's made. He remembers his flaws more clearly than his wins. Others might look at his life and say he's successful. But he doesn't see it that way. Not because he's blind, but because his eyes are locked on what he hasn't done yet. He's always pushing forward, always comparing himself to his own ideal version, not the one standing in front of the mirror today. This mindset is one reason he rarely talks about his accomplishments. He doesn't think they're worth mentioning. He assumes they're just the minimum. That's what happens when your standard is excellence. The bar gets so high you forget how high you already climbed. This doesn't mean he lacks confidence. It means he defines greatness differently. To him, greatness isn't about what others see. It's about becoming the best version of himself, and that version always feels just out of reach. That's why his standards, while powerful, often make his own success invisible. Reason number 2. Low need for external validation. Most people get their sense of worth from what others say. Compliments, awards, likes, and recognition fuel them. But the Sigma male moves differently. He doesn't rely on outside opinions to feel good about himself. That sounds like strength, and it is, but it also has a side effect. It can make greatness harder to notice. Because he doesn't need validation, he doesn't chase it. And when it shows up, he often ignores it. People may tell him he's doing well. They may admire his focus, his independence, or his consistency. But he brushes it off. Not because he's trying to be humble, because he doesn't measure success that way. He's trained himself to keep going without applause. He's used to building in silence. He trusts his own judgment more than public praise. That makes him strong and self-sufficient, but it also means he misses clear signs of success that others would recognize immediately. When someone compliments his work, he nods and moves on. When someone calls him a leader, he shrugs it off. He doesn't take time to absorb it. To him, those words don't matter as much as whether he's staying true to his path. But over time, this creates a blind spot. If you don't accept feedback, even the positive kind, you can't always see where you stand. You could be doing something incredible and still feel like it's not enough. That's the Sigma male's quiet struggle. He doesn't look outward for validation, but without some form of reflection, his own progress fades into the background. This also affects how he views comparison. He doesn't compare himself to others, which is a strength. But without that contrast, he forgets just how far he's come. He doesn't realize that what feels normal to him would feel like success to most people. His greatness is often hidden in plain sight. It's in the way he moves through life without needing to prove anything. But because he's not looking for recognition, he rarely stops to recognize himself. This kind of independence is rare. But it comes with a cost, and part of that cost is the quiet belief that you haven't done much, even when you've done more than most. Reason number 3. Constant comparison to vision, not reality. The Sigma male has a strong vision. He sees where he wants to go, who he wants to become, and what he wants to build. That inner picture drives everything he does. It keeps him moving forward, learning, improving. But that same vision also creates a problem. It makes the present feel incomplete. Instead of comparing himself to other people, the Sigma male compares himself to his own potential. He doesn't care who's ahead or behind. What matters to him is how close he is to his ideal. That mindset keeps him focused, but it also makes it almost impossible to feel like he's arrived. Every time he grows, the vision grows too. It shifts, sharpens, and stretches further into the future. That means the target keeps moving. No matter how much progress he makes, he always feels like there's more to do. This constant gap between where he is and where he wants to be can make him feel like he's not doing enough, even when he's done more than most people ever will. His current reality might be full of wins. He could be financially stable, emotionally grounded, and respected by others. But if that doesn't match the picture in his head, he sees only what's missing. Not out of weakness, but because he's wired to grow. This comparison also affects how he views time. He sees every hour as a chance to get closer to that vision. So when he relaxes, he might feel guilty. When he pauses, he might feel behind. It's not that he's unhappy, it's that his mind is always measuring progress against something higher. Because of this, compliments feel off. Achievements feel small. He doesn't feel finished. And since he defines greatness as hitting that personal vision, anything short of it feels like not there yet. This constant comparison is powerful, but dangerous. It pushes him to evolve, but it also hides the reality of what he's already become. He doesn't realize that what he calls just starting might already be greatness in someone else's eyes. The Sigma male doesn't want to be average. But he also struggles to realize when he's already doing something extraordinary. That's the price of living with vision. It makes the present feel too small, even when it's the proof of how far he's come. Reason number 4. Solitude and internal focus. Limit feedback. One of the Sigma male's strongest traits is his ability to be alone. He doesn't need to be surrounded by people to feel alive. In fact, he prefers space, silence, and solitude. That's where he thinks clearly. That's where he grows. But this preference for being alone also has a downside. It limits feedback. When you're constantly moving through the world on your own, you miss the reflections that come from others. You don't hear what people notice about you. You don't get reminders of how far you've come or how much impact you've made. You stay in your own mind, focused on your own thoughts, and sometimes those thoughts aren't fully accurate. The Sigma male doesn't open up easily. He keeps things to himself, not out of fear, but out of habit. He doesn't ask for opinions or encouragement. He doesn't talk about his plans unless he has to. And because of that, most people don't get a clear view of what he's really doing, and he doesn't get a clear view of how he's being seen. Feedback isn't always about praise. Sometimes it's just a mirror, a reminder that your work matters, that your presence is noticed, that your efforts are visible. Without that mirror, greatness becomes harder to measure. You might be doing powerful things and still feel like it's nothing special. This internal focus also affects how the Sigma male processes success. He'll finish a difficult project, reach a goal, or overcome a challenge, then move on like nothing happened. He doesn't pause to share, reflect, or receive. He's already on to the next step. It's not that he doesn't care. It's that his mind is trained to look inward, not outward. And when the only voice you hear is your own, it's easy to miss the bigger picture. The Sigma male might not even realize the impact he has on others. He may have inspired someone to change, helped someone through silence, or led someone by example. But without feedback, those moments disappear. And that makes his own greatness feel invisible. Solitude is powerful. It builds strength. But it also hides progress if you never check the mirror. And for the Sigma male, that means greatness is often lived quietly and unseen even by the one living it. Reason number 5. Fear of arrogance or egotism. The Sigma male doesn't want to be seen as arrogant. In fact, he avoids anything that feels like showing off. He doesn't talk about his wins. He doesn't brag. He doesn't post every move. This might seem like humility, and it is, but it's also something else. Fear of becoming the kind of man he doesn't respect. He's seen how ego can destroy people. He's watched men lose focus because they started believing their own hype. He's seen success turn people into someone they weren't. So, to protect himself, he avoids pride. But in doing that, he also avoids recognition, even from himself. The Sigma male would rather be underestimated than overhyped. He prefers being seen as simple and real than polished and perfect. He keeps his success quiet, not because he doubts it, but because he's guarding his integrity. This fear of arrogance shows up in how he speaks. Even if he's mastered a skill, he downplays it. Even if he's earned respect, he deflects it. He doesn't want anyone to think he believes he's better than them. And because of that, he rarely speaks about what he's truly capable of. But the problem is, this creates distance from his own achievements. If you downplay something long enough, it stops feeling real. If you never say, "I did that," it starts to feel like you didn't. That's the trap. Avoiding arrogance so much that you also avoid truth. He may also avoid leadership for the same reason. He knows he could lead, guide, or teach, but worries that stepping forward might feel like putting himself above others. So instead of stepping into his role, he steps back. He chooses silence even when his voice is needed. This isn't weakness. It's a protective instinct. but it creates a wall between him and his greatness. He fears that owning his strength might make him lose his balance. So he holds back. And while that keeps him grounded, it also keeps him from fully embracing who he is. True greatness isn't arrogance, and the Sigma male knows that. But sometimes his fear of appearing arrogant keeps him from admitting that he's already become someone worth respecting, even to himself. Reason number 6, overlapping of growth and identity. The Sigma male doesn't just focus on growth, he lives in it. Every day he's pushing to evolve. He reads, reflects, adjusts, and challenges himself. But for him, growth isn't just a goal. It becomes part of his identity. And that's where the problem starts. Because when growth becomes who you are, you never feel finished, and greatness starts to feel out of reach. Most people separate what they've done from who they are. They can look at a list of accomplishments and say, "I'm successful." But the Sigma male doesn't think that way. He doesn't look at his past wins as proof of identity. He sees them as stepping stones, things that helped shape him, but don't define him. He always feels like he's still becoming. Even when he levels up, even when he reaches milestones, he still thinks, "I'm not there yet." That mindset keeps him sharp. It keeps him improving. But it also keeps him disconnected from the idea of being great. This overlap between growth and identity creates a loop. Every time he improves, his standard shifts. He sees who he could become next. So instead of feeling accomplished, he feels like there's more to do, more to learn, more to become. He stays in motion, which is powerful, but also exhausting. Because of this, he rarely talks about what he's already done. He feels like the story is still being written, so there's no point in reading it out loud. He doesn't feel like a finished product, so he doesn't present himself as one. But in doing that, he ignores the chapters that already prove his strength. This mindset also affects how he sees others. He can spot potential fast. He sees the gap between who someone is and who they could be. He encourages growth in others even if he doesn't recognize it in himself. That's part of his silent leadership, seeing clearly, but not always applying it to his own journey. He may never feel like he's made it, not because he hasn't, but because made it doesn't mean anything to him. He values becoming, not arriving. That mindset keeps him humble. But it also keeps him blind to how far he's already come. The Sigma male lives in the process. And when the process becomes your identity, greatness can hide in the background. Not because it's not there, but because you're too focused on who you're still becoming to see who you already are. The Sigma male is one of the most focused, driven, and quietly powerful types of men. He doesn't chase approval. He doesn't talk about his success. He doesn't stop to reflect on how far he's come. That's part of what makes him different, and also part of why he struggles to see his own greatness. Every reason behind that struggle comes from something strong. His high standards, his self-reliance, his deep vision, his solitude, his discipline, his humility. These traits push him to evolve, but they also create blind spots. They keep him grounded, but they also keep him from recognizing what he's already built. That's the paradox of the Sigma male. He can be great and not feel it. He can be respected and still feel like he's behind. He can have impact without ever realizing how much. If you are a Sigma male, understand this. Just because you don't feel great doesn't mean you aren't. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Your work, your choices, your quiet consistency, they all matter. Even if no one says it. Even if you never do. You don't need to shout. You don't need to chase validation. But you do need to pause sometimes. Look back. Look within. And admit the truth. You've done more than you think. You've grown more than you've noticed. And yes, your greatness is real, even if it's quiet.